To all the good people all around the world, you are tuning in, listening to, absorbing, consuming, retaining, eating, drinking, breathing, consuming again, and taking in the best podcast in the world today. And we are just getting started. Welcome to episode 15 of Unlocking Your Potential Excellence. Can I get a round of applause one time? Round of applause. There we go. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. If you don't know, I am one of the co-founders of Potential Excellence, Brian, and alongside me I have
me. You have me beside you.
That guy. And this podcast is about bringing awareness to various topics and issues to help guide anyone and everyone on finding the potential to be excellent in this world, in this world, in this world. See the little echo I did? The little echo I did? But with that being said, Tevin, episode 15, we're here. We're still alive. We made it. Some people didn't think we were going to make it. Some people thought we were going to make it. Some people don't even know who we are, Thanos. But we back. We back in it. We back and better than ever. So, Tevin, I only have one question for you. How are you?
I'm chilling. Always chilling. It's going to be the same answer. Probably for the next 5, 10, 11, 17 years. Chilling.
You've been chilling for a minute.
Yeah.
How come you're not heating up?
Nothing bad. Just chilling.
Don't you feel like you're going to get frostbite? See what I did there? Because chilling. Temperature.
Anyway.
Crazy.
You have more stuff to say?
Yeah, crazy. One good thing. One bad thing. Rose and Thorns found.
One good thing. Passed all my summer courses.
Same here.
Another good thing, got my longboard on deck. What I mean,
when does guy
skater gang. Got my longboard.
You even know how to skate?
I used to have a skateboard when I was a kid, fam. A lot you don't know about me.
Well, back in your Jamaica days.
Nah, fam. Back when I just came here.
Oh, crazy.
Like year three Canadian 7.
A man said year 3. Oh my gosh. And any thorns?
Probably be the fact that my laptop, I don't have my laptop yet because man's be playing. I'm about to go to the store today to talk to some man them because they be playing too much.
Facts.
Same man to call man and they're not trying to call man. It's just the whole thing.
Disrespectful out here, isn't it?
It's not disrespectful. If you're not gonna call me, at least tell me you're not gonna call me. But
you know what's very disrespectful though? What's very, very disrespectful?
Not respecting you.
No, I mean that too, yes, but having a 0 for your financial. What's your fam saying? Your financial situation, you saving, summer's coming to an end. Do you have some, 1-2 money going into the school term?
I have about as much as you'd expect to have given all the expenses I've made. So I'd say probably like a 2.89.
2.89 out of 3?
Yeah.
Not bad. That's a pass.
Yeah.
Emotional. What's your relationship saying? Family, friends, best friends, girlfriend. What's going on with those?
I complain. All my relationships are plus.
Yeah, I know, man. Big relationships, big positivity.
So that's 2.8993.
Bro, like rounded to the second decimal place.
No.
Oh my gosh. Mentally, you be giving yourself too much constructive negativity, criticism, stuff like that. You can't take others.
I think I know what you meant to say. Are you done? Anyway.
Are you done? Am I done? I don't know. Let's get, because we're just getting started. I see what I did there. Anyway, mentally, are you too hard and negative to yourself? Or can you take others' negativity? Why are you looking at me like that?
Anyway, so as I was saying before you rudely interrupted me,
I asked you a question.
Fam.
I didn't finish the question.
Okay. Yo. Mentally okay. I just be chilling. I don't be doing nothing, I give myself a lot of criticism, but it's not too much, I know how to roll the punches, take the criticism, move forward. So yeah, the 2.8993. Yeah.
Crazy. Since you have these big decimals, do you got those big muscles? Like, what's your body saying? You taking care of yourself? You working out? You eating healthy? You taking care of that skin? You know, that one temple you got? Are you feeding it with trash?
Physically, I'd be lacking. I've been lacking. I got pretty lazy. Been sleeping a lot.
Sleep is good. Depends how much sleep you be getting.
I've
Sleep
been
is
sleeping
good.
too much.
Crazy.
But I give that a solid 2.983. 2.8993. Yeah. That makes that's better. That's better.
That's better?
Yeah.
You know what's better?
2.8993.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know what? But you know what is better though? Seeing the unknown and believing in the unknown. Staying calm, cool, collected. So what's your spiritual
There's
say?
one. You keep saying a sentence. There's one word to describe that entire sentence. It's called faith. You could just say faith. So just saying seeing the unknown and all that. It's faith.
I could, but the last thing we want to say is that word, and then someone who's not as religious as us is like, oh, why are you saying faith? You know, religion, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just saying, seeing the unknown, staying calm, cool, and collected, believing that there's something in the future protecting you to get to where you want to be, instead of saying the religious terms, because, you know, we don't want to get into that argument. If you want to argue with us, just like you said last podcast, if you want to argue with us after the podcast. So, are you staying calm, cool, collected? Are you staying consistent? Can you see the unknown? Are you optimistic?
Of course. Someone will actually call my optimism overconfidence.
Big confidence. Sorry.
If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna have to be winning still. It is what it is. So yeah, I'm big on seeing the unknown and all that. So I'll give that a solid. Interesting, solid. 2.8993.
Yeah. I mean, since you asked me how my rose and thorns are, you know, life is pretty good.
Life is good, right?
So you're saying that you just interrupted me. You're a very terrible listener. You know that, right? You should be ashamed of yourself. Wait, what? Anyway, back to what I was saying to my rose and thorn. Life is swell. Life is pretty swell. You know, moving out to Hamilton next Thursday, leaving Toronto. Man, it's been a long road. Even though I did move out to residence last year, going into second year university, I'm actually moving out like a place, not a residence, but a place. So that's exciting. New adventure, new chapter.
Saying the word twice doesn't have different effect.
It does. I swear it does.
No, it's the same word. But how many times you say it? I don't think you know.
Crazy.
I don't
but yeah, thorns, nah, no thorns, man. The only thorn I have is just impatience, but because, you know, I'm really excited for the new chapters. I'm really excited to just put in work to get the blessings that life has to offer us. So yeah, no thorns except impatience. Well, that's not really like a thorn, just a thorn. Let's see, Femps, man, financial didn't work, but my mindset is stronger, which means if my mindset is stronger, man's got the blueprints, which if I got the blueprints, I can get the bag because I got the blueprints and the maps to go get the bag, like Dora the Explorer. I can explore to get the bag. See what I did there? So financials at like a 2.94 out of 3. Emotional, since you asked, Tevin, emotional, you know, relationships are really,
I'm not asking for any of this, by the way. Just
are really good. So, you know, my family relationships are good. My friend relationships are good. My best friend relationships are good. Life is good. Mentally, ooh. I'm not as hard on myself as I used to be. You know, I'm taking it. I'm not trying to judge myself too much, which is okay. I can take constructive criticism. I'm unbothered by negativity, so that doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Where did this guy get a toothpick from? Anyway, yeah, mentally, I'm trying to stay mentally strong. Not trying to allow anyone to get under my skin, because if you get under my skin, you're just gonna be below me, because, you know, my skin runs throughout my whole body. Shoot, never mind. Bad joke. Just forget I said that. Yeah. Physical. I wish I worked out harder for the past 5 months in quarantine. I really wish I did. I really wish I did. But like I said, my mindset is more calm, relaxed. So even though I didn't work as hard as I wanted to in quarantine, or at least summer quarantine, because school is still online for university students in Ontario. But I guess this summer was more of a mentally training session, than not more of a physical training session.
There you go. You got it now. You got it now.
Yeah. Talking so hard. But yeah, so physically, I'm hoping to start working out harder from this point forward. So school semester Brian is going to be jacked, swollen, looking like I got mosquito bites, bee stings, stung by bee. Wow, talking's really hard. That is so crazy. English is not my language.
It's your first language. So I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what's wrong with you.
I don't know what went wrong.
That's your only language. I don't even know French. Damn.
Crazy. Ouch, my feelings. Mentally, but mentally strong, so it doesn't matter. Physically, appearance-wise, not just working out. I'm doing my best, trying to take care of my skin. I got a haircut, not too long ago, so I'm trying to take care of this lower, more manageable hairstyle.
What do you mean more manageable?
It is more manageable for me at least. Spiritually, physically, 2.94 out of 3. Mm-hmm. Spiritually, believing in the unknown. I'm believing in the unknown. I'm calm, cool, collected. I'm optimistic, but again, I'm just very impatient because this is the first time I feel I have a lot of control in my days now. I feel like I'm aware of every action I'm making. I have no filler going on. I feel like I'm just like, you see in those storylines and shows, they're just doing on one storyline, and that's it. Like they're prepping their episodes, they're doing their thing, they're doing their ish, preparing for that one storyline, that one.
It's pretty basic storyline,
Yeah. So now that I feel like I'm there now. Back then, I feel like I was doing like 10 different storylines, 10 different things all at once. Like I was trying to conquer this demon, conquer this battle. But now I feel like I'm just doing one thing, and that is femmes, just life, just day-to-day grind, just putting in a lot of hours for my stuff. So spiritually, I'm staying optimistic, staying consistent, and staying calm, cool, collected for that. So that's a solid 3 out of 3. Yeah. 3 out of 3. Femmes. Life is good for us. And now that the introduction and the how are yous and all that good-ish is done, because, we like to ask how everyone is doing. Tevin, take it away with the podcast today.
All right. So this podcast is kind of like just addressing solutions, for people facing daily life, given normal daily life without COVID, pre-COVID, as I like to call it. And post-COVID, how to deal with that type of thing, what we're dealing with now, what we're hopefully not going to be dealing with for a lot longer, and how to turn daily problems into daily opportunities, that type of thing.
I like that.
So, nice, I didn't ask for it. Anyway, so now let's get into the interview portion. Let's talk about how this whole thing started. Talk about hygiene. Talk about how, all this entire pandemic is just pushing proper hygiene, doing a tiny bit extra.
That was literally the whole thing.
At the beginning, yeah, before the whole mask and everything, was just like, wash your hands, They're saying things that I'm like, mans don't be doing this on a regular. Like, you tell mans to do this? Adding the mask and adding, adding hand sanitizers to all that, then yeah, I don't put hand sanitizer on my hands every day. And pre-COVID, I wouldn't really wear a mask. So I guess that all makes sense. But at the beginning, when it first started, like March, April, just to let masks wash your hands, like, they didn't already do that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing I gotta say, before you go deep into it, the one thing I gotta say, like, some of these hand sanitizers from some of these stores smell like...
Bro, they're trash. It's hydrogen peroxide. It's not hand sanitizer.
Also, like the task is being completed. But the scent is not it.
Yeah, they don't care about how your hands smell. Just care as long as you don't transfer COVID.
It's like food. Like when people say, "Oh, we eat food for function, not for taste." I mean, bro, you need a balance. Like what? True, anyway, true. That's just a side thought. Continue.
Okay. If you haven't learned anything from this pandemic, right? If you haven't learned anything from this pandemic, what do you think that shows about the person? Hygienically, of course, because this is a
I mean, really take it in. Like, yo, the government, the people, the high profile money, people, they be spending millions of dollars on commercials about wearing a mask, washing your damn hands, putting on sanitizer. So it's not like you haven't seen it, because they've been marketing that ish like no tomorrow for the past 6-7 months, right? So it's not like you can't see it. You're human, so you definitely can smell it on you. So if you can't even get yourself to stay somewhat hygienic, at least when you're going out, when you're in your home and you're in your crib and you're, some people are not obviously looking as good as they do outside in their home because they're in a more chill, relaxed, laid back environment. Don't get me wrong. But when you're out and about and you have I don't care if you have the audacity to leave your crib and actually smell, and you know that you could actually do something about, like, forget COVID, forget just like the commercials and the marketing. Have the common decency to do every other person's noses a favor and like just take care of yourself. Like, if you haven't realized that you just have to take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of the one body you got, then my friend, I don't know what to do about you. I literally don't know what to do.
That's hilarious. I 100% agree. Just kind of thinking about what can we learn going forward from a hygiene perspective, kind of prevent something like this happening again. It's kind of along the lines that I was thinking about. Prevent another COVID-like outbreak or pandemic.
Never again.
From a hygiene standpoint, I think the damage is already done. You know what I mean? So, like, online with what you were saying, there's been so much marketing, let's say, about all these hygienic ways to not catch COVID. I just think if people continue along those lines, even post-COVID, I don't think we'll get into the situation like this again. Will people do that? Unlikely, because everything becomes opinionated. All message just want to do their own thing, even though it's not for the common good of mankind. People don't care. The simplest things become mad complicated. So I just think that if we just continue along the lines of doing maybe not as strenuous type of, putting hand sanitizer every time we leave a store, maybe not as strenuous and stuff like that, but having the basic common decency to keep some tips on how to stay clean during these times to kind of aid for future possible pandemics, right?
Yeah.
Because I already prefer not to live through this again, because I was just mad annoying.
No,
just a mad inconvenience. Some people lost their lives. Some people lost their jobs. So for some people, it had way higher effects than it would have for me, or from my perspective, a student's perspective. It was just dumb in every way, shape, or form. It was just not a place you want to be. I think we said this on a other podcast before. How heart goes out to all the people going from high school to university. It's going to be a very annoying year to transition into.
My heart even goes further out to like the people graduated from high school this year and going to university the next year. So not only is their graduation all messed up.
That's what I meant to say.
But,
that's what I said.
But it just sounded like you're talking about the people. But I guess that doesn't make sense. You know what? Let's just pretend that didnn't happen. Let's just pretend that. Next question. I think you're talking about the next question. Yeah.
So what is
that was so close.
What is the one thing people can learn from this quarantine time? This time digging a bit deeper into it from themselves perspective. What can you learn from yourself? What can you learn from like relationships, how you interact with other people? And like financially, what can you learn? Still kind of under the guise of hygiene, slightly. What can people learn from those three facets of their life?
Speaking from experience, at least from the themselves perspective, it's, again, just fixating your mindset. You'd be surprised. That's what really messed me up in freshman year of university. Like, your mindset takes you places and it helps you stay on track and hold you accountable in every way, shape, or form. So if you fixate your mindset on self-care as like the number one thing, then you'll be surprised how much actual like progress you'll make, you know? So like if you say to yourself, I'm gonna make sure I shower every day, because you'd be surprised how many days you go without showering in 1 week, or you know what I mean? You might shower once every 2-3 days, or might shower every day in 1 week and then 5 times in the next week. And then you know what I mean? So if you make self-care a daily thing, like showering all the time, you know, morning and night routine, especially if you're going through puberty. Um, yeah, just like making that daily, find your routine, your skincare routine, and make it a thing. Make it a thing for you. The relationship perspective, I can only speak on like non-dating one perspective, but like family and friends, oof. For me, I was in quarantine for a long time, basically the whole time, right? So I can really kind of relate to this one. So again, you just really taking this time, because like for me, yes, it would have been nice to see friends all the time, of course. But you also have to realize, if I'm moving out of Toronto, which means I'm barely gonna see my family now from this point forward, even more, I might as well take in all the time I have with them daily, because I know I can see my friends all the time in the future, and I can see my family too. But you know how life works. You end up seeing your friends more than your family as you grow older. So really taking that time and really cherish that time with your family from now, because you'd be surprised how often you don't see them. You only end up seeing them on holidays. Heck, you're probably working on holidays, so you end up seeing them the next holiday. So you know what I mean? So really just cherish that time with them, and realize that even though it sucks that you can't see your friends all the time, FaceTime, that's what I've been doing for the past 5 months. FaceTime, text messages, group chats, sending memes, initiating conversations, those take you places. And that it's kind of like that, kind of like a you see, like an adrenaline boost. Like even though you like usually you would have a lot of energy in your days just by being with your friends, because they just give you that positive energy. But having those 1-2 text messages, 1-2 FaceTimes, 1-2 phone calls, those those can get you through your days. Those can get you through your days, which is nice. And finance, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because if you're not doing like YouTube or something online, then it's really hard to generate income, or at least the process of generating income.
Yeah.
Man, maybe budgeting. You've been talking about budgeting lately, so you maybe can hop on that. So you can talk about budgeting. You can talk about, so like when you get out of quarantine, you know exactly what have you been spending on, what's best, what's good, that kind of thing. You can talk about budgeting. Yeah, like I said, I can't really think of any other way to go and get money if you're not doing something online, because we can't do odd jobs and go in person because everyone has to be in quarantine. Um, yeah, online, find some sort of income online, and yeah, try budgeting your daily expenses.
Okay. Okay. Um, for themselves, I'm probably just thinking about how to best make sure that you yourself are clear and clean and safe, just so that other people are safe. But that's a big thing that COVID has really like pushed, and big narrative COVID has really pushed. A lot of people out there to like make sure you're good, so the people around you are good. Because if you got it, people around you got it. So that's kind of the kind of agency for yourself, which then rubs off on others. Keep making sure you're good, so those around you are good as well. I think that's one thing that people can learn from this, because that's so applicable to a lot of other facets in life. You know what I mean? Crashing a plane, make sure you're good, so those around you are good. Put on the oxygen thing that falls from the top of the plane thing, then put on somebody else's. You know what I mean? Study for your test before you help your friend study for their test. Like, you're good with your test, so you can properly help your friend
Oh,
with
that's
their
a big
test.
one.
I mean, it's applicable to so many facets of life. But then for the relationship part, that aspect of it, um, it'd be tough. I think kind of touch on relationships a bit later on at the end of the podcast. I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to talk about it from a family perspective, like you did. From a family perspective, it's been kind of good and bad, because I feel for a lot of people who don't have the best relationships with their family, and are forced to spend this entire time with their family. That'd be a very depressing time. You can't see your friends. Maybe your friends were your escape. You know what I mean? Maybe your friends were who you confide the most of your time in. So to not have that connection, not have that escape, could be pretty damning to a lot of people's mental state. The M and FEMS, you know.
Yeah.
So that's just another thing, you know, trying to keep your energy up, trying to keep your mental up. If you don't have one avenue to kind of rejuvenate your mental capacity, try to find something else, whether it's scrapbooking, you know what I mean, whether it's photography, videography, you know what I mean, whether it's YouTube, whether it's watching movies, whether it's pretending like you're a movie critic, you know what I mean, watching a bunch of all the movies on Netflix and then, you know, writing a review because you're bored, you're nothing better to do with your time, you know, and then submitting your review online, and you know, you get discovered, you become like a professional movie critic. Obviously, not likely, but sure, why not? Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
And then just to kind of touch on what Brian said, because from an introverted perspective, I'm chilling. I gain, like, let me just define something. An extrovert is someone that gains energy from being around people. An introvert is someone that gains energy when they're by themselves, right? When they're secluded.
This guy's power level is crazy right now.
Don't kill me. Their energy gets drained when they're around people, right? And for an extrovert, their energy gets drained when they're by themselves because they need other people to build them up, right? So I'm chilling. Probably not the best thing to kind of be at this point in time an extrovert, you know what I mean? Because you know a lot of your mental state is put upon those around you. A lot of your energy is put upon those around you, which could be your family. But you know, bro, your family's your family. They get tired of them sometimes. Not gonna lie to you.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Still,
finance,
balance, facts. But then from a financial perspective, not only budgeting, but trying to find multiple streams of income.
Yep.
So that's kind of what this whole pandemic situation kind of showed. To show that if you only have one rudimentary stream of income, you're not financially safe. Because you know anything could happen, and this pandemic is anything, right? It's part of a couple of years ago, man, were like, nah, B, that's too out there, that's too extreme, you know. And then all of that's gonna happen in 1 year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 2020 happened. It was like the Fire Nation attacked. 2020 happened, and man's weren't prepared.
2020 not playing no jokes.
So that's just one thing I think you can learn from this point in time. Just trying to set up multiple streams of income, right? And then from another perspective, right? Kind of taking into what can you learn? What do you think you can learn from a school/work perspective type of thing? You know what I mean? Oh, I jumped the gun. Neck. But kind of digging into themselves before we go to school/work. We're gonna backtrack and then deeper into the themselves category. You know what I mean? Thinking about how can one increase their self-awareness, right? Of what they can do in their daily lives to avoid, you know, feeling down, to avoid getting bored, you know, maybe doing the wrong thing. Because, you know, I don't mind, so the devil's workshop, you know what I mean? So if you're bored, you're more likely to kind of deviate doing something foolish. You know, so it's good to keep occupied, doing good things, doing things that are constructive, not things that are going to tear your life down eventually. You know what I mean? So how can people do that?
There's a couple things that you could do. You could occupy yourself with a lot of things to make sure occupy yourself with the right things. So like if you say, so first you have to create a bunch of goals, right? Because goals are a nice guideline for you to accomplish the right kind of things you want to accomplish in life, right? So first you have to write down and make a list of a bunch of goals you want to accomplish during whatever quarantine, whatever self-isolated chapter of your life you're in, right? Do that first. Then you have to be able to see what actual work, daily work, do you have to do to accomplish these goals. So for example, if your goal is to lose 50 pounds and you can't go to the gym and you have to work out at home, okay, so the goal is to lose 50 pounds at home at-home workouts. All right, what are the actions? Workouts, like the workout itself, YouTube videos, get an online personal trainer, maybe your family member might train you, whatever it may be, that's the action. Now that you know the goal and the action, you have to literally consume yourself in that goal, in that action daily. I'm not saying working out daily, but like the process, like start researching everything about the human body, what's good to eat, what's bad to eat. See, that idea is good, but it's also a good idea to have many goals, because you can't research fitness the whole day. Like you get tired of it. So it's good to have many different goals to have, like FEMS, have a financial goal, have a relationship goal, have a mentally toughness goal, have a physical goal, and have a spiritual, consistent, non-distracting type goal, right? So have many goals, realize what the actions are, and consume yourself daily on just being occupied with that action, with the process, with being more educated in that goal, in that stream of knowledge, as much as possible. Because when you're always doing something, you don't have time to sit and think and just feel what's going on in the world, not distracting yourself, because what you're doing is taking the opportunity that life has put you in and you're making it yours. Of course, I would love to go out with my friends and hang out and chill every day, right? But I can't. And if I sit and think, I'm like, all right, I'm sad, 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 I'm sad. But if I'm always working, I'm like, okay, you know what? Even though I'm sad, I'm working on stuff. So I'm working on stuff. So when I do see my friends again, I'm a better version of myself, right? It's not necessarily taking yourself away from the situation completely and just forgetting about it, because that's not good. But you're realizing the situation you're in, and you're using what you can do from this situation to become a better person. So when you come back fully into the situation, whether it's post quarantine or whatever, you're a better version of yourself, and you didn't just sit and just be sad all day. That's a good idea to do, to kind of just occupy yourself and work daily. Yeah. And regarding your mindset, you could start thinking of ways on how to become more empathetic. You can start thinking of ways on how to put yourself in other people's shoes. Perspective, gratitude, that's a big thing, because a lot of people are complaining about, again, not being able to see their friends. I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad. But you're not thinking about the people who've tested positive for corona. You're not thinking about the people who've lost their jobs. You're not thinking about the people who've done both, lost their jobs and passed away from corona, right? So like, it's all about changing your perspective, changing your, like, what about the people who live in cities that don't have any cases, like little to no cases? Like, think about that. Think about how blessed you are to be in that environment, right? It's so hard because this disease that is going on is so crazy, because it's not like you don't know who has corona or not, right? Because some people be saying their symptoms are not as worse, while other people's symptoms are lethal. So like, you could be walking around your days thinking everything's normal, mask on, gloves, hand sanitizer, and the person right beside you, 6 feet beside you, 2 feet beside you, because they might be breaking the rules or whatever, has corona. And you don't know that because their symptoms are not as worse, and they don't even know they have corona yet. So it's like these things that you just have to realize that if you're still alive, and right now at this moment you are still alive, positive corona tested or negative, if you are still alive, breathing in any way, shape, or form, take that. Don't take that for granted. Do not take that for granted. Be grateful for the position you are in, because my friend, a couple years from now, a couple months from now, a couple days from now, whenever corona's severely reduced, where we could do things without wearing a mask, do things without wearing gloves constantly, you'll become a better person because of that, because you're not always stressed and anxious. Like, imagine you're stressed and anxious the whole quarantine, and then post quarantine you're like, damn, I really spent 7-8 months being all mad. Damn, I could have done something. I could have lost a couple of weight. I could have worked on something. I could have become more grateful for my family. I could have, like, damn, that's it. Like, did I really stress myself that much? And speaking of someone who gets acne and pimples, if I stress myself out, I'm breaking out, and I'm not trying to break out. I'm trying to get a clear skin, right? So yeah, like, change your perspective, and gratitude, bro. Gratitude is magic. Gratitude is magic. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Well said, well said. Switching gears slightly to the more workshop school side of things, right? Finally, because I said this earlier before. Well, why does lowering one's self-esteem cause things like depression, anxiety, doubt, right? How do you prevent things like that? Kind of touched on it like a couple of seconds ago. Where it's like you're in this new situation, right? There's some people whose self-esteem was built up by their friends, right? And they're left to their own thoughts, left to their own devices. Their own thoughts are trying to turn on them. Their own thoughts are bringing them down instead of lifting them up, right?
Yeah.
So how do you kind of alter things like that? How do you change things like that for the better?
Self-esteem. I can only speak. Remember, I've never had any severe depression or anything like that of that nature in my life. I'm blessed and grateful for that. But I've obviously been self-conscious of my looks. You know, dark skin, pimples, big nose, all the human stuff that Brian Osei-Boateng goes to. But self-esteem, self-conscious, man. Why does it cause it? Yeah, like it takes a huge toll on your body. Like just like what we said in the beginning of the podcast, these big global pandemics that we go through is because of the little problems that we don't address, that we don't handle, that we don't take care of over time, right? Just like all these cultural community movements and all of these problems and all of these, you know, disasters that are going on. It's because of the little things the human body and the communities and the countries are not addressing right away. And because they don't address those problems right away, boom, big global pandemic. Boom, literally, boom.
Boom,
so
no
like
Marco.
So oh my gosh. So yeah, like of course it causes things like depression, anxiety, and all that stuff because people are not putting themselves in a position. And I'm not saying people who have that don't take that first step, because mental health is a very serious thing. But the reason why that occurs, just for the sake of answering the question, the reason why that occurs is because if you spend every single day, God knows how many times a day, beating on yourself, bashing yourself, being negative to yourself, it's like weight. It's like over time, it's just gonna weigh you down and down and down and down. And before you know it, that is your mood. That is your happy face, your sad face, your mad face, your resting face. That is your mood. You're sad all the time. You be sad constantly. So if you're always doing the little things every day, whatever big thing that happens in the end, that is what's going to happen. In this case, depression, anxiety. Why do you think successful people are successful? Because they did the little hardworking, smart things every day. And that's why in the end, their big global pandemic is their success. Your big global pandemic is your depression, is your sadness because of something or someone that has hurt you over time, whether it's 5 times, 10 times, a million times, whatever it may be. Something or someone has hurt you too many times to the point where your big global pandemic is your severe depression or anxiety or whatever. How can we prevent it? Man, I am still not super educated in mental health. That's going to take me a long time to fully get educated in that. But what I've learned so far, there are many phenomenal resources out there. There are many case scenarios on how you could approach someone that has it. So like what questions to say, how to respond to them. I don't want to say them because I don't have them memorized, but I need to have them memorized for my future kids if they ever go through this. So there's many case scenarios online of how to talk to someone, how to approach those conversations. There's many resources out there that you could use and just take advantage of and use to your benefit, because you know the human body needs to be cared for all the time. Yeah, Google research, do your best to educate yourself on it, especially if you know someone that has it. It's one thing to have it because it's hard for someone that has it to take that first step, because that's always a big problem that I've heard. But if you know someone that has it, it's really good to like do your research on it so you could care for that person. But obviously things like bullying take a huge toll on that, right? Bullying, cyberbullying, physical bullying, what else is there? Verbal. You said financial bullying back then, so you can
I'll
touch
talk
upon
about
that.
that.
Yeah. Again, never. I've been bantered and insulted by friends, but not like bullying by friends. And elementary, high school, university, I've never been bullied before. I've been bantered and insulted. You know, some hurt my chest more than others, but you know, that still stays strong. Regarding bullying, man, again, there's so much research and so much knowledge about how to solve those issues, but how to reduce it. Physical bullying. Now, there's different kinds of physical bullying. Maybe there's just someone just pushing you around. Maybe someone's actually like taking something from you. Maybe someone's maybe just pushing you around, taking something from you. There's many forms within that physical bullying aspect. So one thing, it would be nice to have some sort of self-defense background. Maybe it's you just getting stronger yourself. Maybe it's you actually taking up some lessons. Again, I still don't know everything. I'm just going by what I've learned and what I've experienced. Taking 1-2 self-defense lessons, bulking up a bit, getting a bit stronger, taking care of yourself, increasing your status in something, right? Because sometimes it's not just about looking strong, when it's also about doing something that people will kind of respect you more for, or kind of, I don't want to say intimidated by you for, but in this case, intimidated by you. So do something that would increase your physical aura, I would say, because my body is not that big. Some people say it's big, but it's not that big.
It's a
Compared
physical aura. This is
physical
anime.
aura. It's an anime, fam. Like your power level, basically.
Don't kill
Like
me.
like
I just been
well,
training like Goku, get some body weight, some
like
weight
Goku's
explosive.
not big.
Bro,
Goku's skinny. Goku's skinny. He's a martial artist. He's skinny.
it'll mess
He's
you up,
lean and
bro.
skinny. He'll mess you up. Like people be saying I was strong in high school. I mean, okay, but compared to this 6'8" and a half
You're
times
not
10,
strong, you're big. There's a difference.
I'm big, right? So like, so beside this 6,000-foot basketball player, they
Bro,
still
the
see me as
tallest person
big.
in school is 6'10", 6'9".
Yeah, when all these big basketball players are 6'10" and stuff like that, but then they see me who's like 5'8", 5'9", and like, oh my gosh, Brian's so big. Well, there's a man that's a foot taller beside me, and I'm big. So it's like you got to do something with your body, with your status, with your experience of life to really increase your physical aura in a way where you're able to defend yourself. Don't always start the fighting. Don't start the fighting. That's a different conversation. But try to do
If we're gonna
something.
fight, don't lose.
Don't lose.
Don't lose out here. We're gonna
I live
fight.
with that.
We're gonna get in trouble, and you're gonna fight someone.
Bags.
Better not lose.
Like Eric Thomas said, if you're already in pain, get a reward from it.
Don't kill me.
Don't use it in that context. I'm sorry, Eric. Anyway, verbal. Ooh, I've been in those ones. I've been in those ones, like banter ones. Verbal. I can handle this one. Okay, so first, recognize who you are. Don't let someone's opinions of you dictate who you are deep down inside. I know we just talked about self-esteem, depression. It's hard to like get those voices out of your head, especially if you're hurt so much in your household, in your friend group, and everything, right? If you've heard those negative voices at home and outside, it's really hard to find your happy place. But it's a process. I don't know all the information, but I'll say what I can. So recognize and remember who you are deep down inside, and don't let anybody's opinions of you dictate who you are. That's what we talk about M and FEMS. It's all about having that mental toughness, that thick skin, whether it's your family, your friend group, or the workforce. There's always going to be at least one person that's trying to bring you down in a negative way more than others. Even if they think they're not doing it, they are doing it. So you need to realize that their opinions of you should not matter. Even if it's someone that has helped you constantly, they do not have the right to give you that slack, to give you that pain, to give you that sorrow, to give you that grief or strife or whatever. They don't have the right to do that. So don't allow that to happen to you as if it's legal. It should be illegal in some sort of country. It's illegal to hurt someone's feelings. All right? That's two things I gotta say about that. That's two things I gotta say about that. Rebuttals. Now we're talking about rebuttals. You can't just be passive aggressive. You can't just take it all in and then punch a wall when you get home. No. rebuttals. You have to so now that you've recognized who you are, you recognize that what they're doing is really bad. Now you gotta focus on the rebuttal part. If someone cusses at you, don't cuss at them back. Stay calm, stay cool, stay collected, and rebuttal in a way where it's not too petty, but it's a little petty, and in a way where like they should recognize, like they remember just like what we talked about before, status. Like don't allow someone's status is over there. Don't allow like recognize who you are, recognize your worth. Don't allow someone to take your kindness for weakness, right? Don't allow someone to take your kindness for weakness. Recognize who you are and rebuttal your response. Respond in a way where you clearly recognize that you do not like what they're telling to you, how they're speaking to you. You know, talk to them in a calm, cool, collected way. And if they're just yelling and always getting mad at you or always disrespecting your name, disrespecting who you are, then they're not the right friend, family member for you, fam. It's that simple.
Round table. Kinggsz, you didn't know I was the best ever. My favorite number 4 because I'm forever. Round table gang, do you wanna be a member? We celebrate every time we come together. I would rather ever than for you to lie to me. Honestly, over someone that is trying to be someone you're not, you're still gonna lie after you're caught. I promise.